We are live on Facebook. This is our work session in preparation for our recess meeting of August the 19th. And we will have a presentation first. So Greg Owen from SFC, their contract is up and is on this agenda, but this is also the normal time when he would come to us, or a representative from SFC would come to us. Greg is going to be the first time he's been with us, to give us a business plan. And he's got handouts and slides and all of that. So I will turn that over to you to present that and to introduce your team. He brought everybody with him, I think, or most everybody with him.
Great, yeah. Most of us are here. Some are still working, getting ready for a tournament this weekend. But good morning to all, and thank you for allowing me and my staff to be here and share our vision for the City of Starkville's Park and Recreation. For those that I haven't formally met, I look forward to meeting you. My name is Greg Owen. I look forward to building our relationships going forward. In starting with the executive summary and in summarizing our expectations for the upcoming fiscal year, we're committed to filling the calendar with as many opportunities as we can possibly do. Some of those ideas that we have are going to be adding volleyball, possibility of wiffle ball, wrestling, adult soccer, and then we also want to add for our senior citizens a lunch and learn opportunity, and then as well as adding some socials. So those are things that we're looking at for our upcoming calendar. And then just in general, in my 5 years here, I've been blessed to be able to be here for 5 years. And during those 5, I've been able to serve in the public as well as the private sector and in various venues. And what I'm most excited about now is being able to serve the entire community at once. And in serving the entire community, one of the things that we're really focusing on within our parks is just a standard and an expectation. We have a standard that we want all of our parks to be, and we want to uphold that expectation across the board. So it shouldn't matter which park one of our children from our community go to, or our families, whichever one they go to, it should have the same expectation and the same standard. Moving into slide 4, we were tasked with determining our goals, our 3 top goals for the fiscal year coming up. And number 1 is to elevate our brand presence and community reach. And the reason why this is so important to us is because we know that consistency increases connection. So we want to be connected to our community. We want our community to be informed. And we're looking at ways to connect other than just through cell phones, websites, social media. We will be attacking those areas, but we also want to attend the local events, local meetings, gatherings. Anytime that we can have a time and space to share, we want to do that verbally as well with our community so that they know our upcoming opportunities that we're going to be providing. Number 2 is to cultivate a positive and empowering workplace. And you see the word culture. Culture is one of those terms that's thrown around a bunch, but for us it is very important for us to get that right within our staff so that we can be the culture that we need to be for our community. And so what we talk about consistently in our staff meetings is we want to be number 1. We want to be the best park and rec around. So to be number 1, how do we do that? We take the word 1 and we make that an acronym, O-N-E. So within our staff, we know that to be number 1, we only need everyone. So everyone in our staff, everyone on our team is vital to the success of us providing the right kind of parks and recreation in our community. So in being number 1, we also talk about, we use the same number 1. We want to get 1% better. If you watch sports at all, you'll probably see coaches all the time talk about, we want to get 1% better. And if I ask you to raise your hand, probably not many people could tell us what 1% is. So it's important that we define terms within our culture. For us, 1% is 1% of your day, which equals 14 minutes and 24 seconds of your day. So we challenge our staff daily. What are we doing different? What are we doing different above the normal standard to reach a higher expectation? And if each one of us do that throughout the day, then look at the compound effect that that has for our parks. So 1% better, and we only need everyone. That's our culture. And then number 3 is to develop and strengthen our workforce. We're blessed with a talented staff already, and there's plenty of expertise on our staff. The thing that I've noticed is that they have a passion for seeing Starkville excel. They have a passion for doing great. But I also see something else in their eyes, which is fatigue. They've been working extremely hard over the last 9 months to a year, keeping things moving in the right direction. So I hope and pray that our staff always understand that we are extremely happy with their performance and where we are today. But we do have those concerns that we need to address with staffing, and we'll kind of hit on those a few as we go through. All right, so moving on to slide 5. That is a little bit more detailed in our marketing plan. So number 1, 2, and 3, and I won't do much reading, but it is important here. Number 1 is to enhance our marketing strategies for events and activities. Number 2 is to optimize and grow our audience reach. Number 3 within the marketing plan is to increase our overall brand awareness. Most of those are self-explanatory, but I do want to just kind of give one thing that we're looking at. This is not something that we're contractually required to do with our sponsors, but we want to be a partner with them, not just a transaction that happens once a year. We want to be in partnership with our sponsors. So one thing we're looking at doing is taking photos and videos of our local leagues playing on the fields with the logo there, and we'll be posting those out on social media, just saying, giving them a thank you. Thank you for partnering us, and look what you've been able to help our community do. So that's just one thing that we're looking at in adding to our marketing plan. Down next on the bottom part of that slide, for our highlights of this current fiscal year, you'll notice that our sponsorships are 100% for softball and baseball, which is great, but we want it to be 100% across all of our rec sports. And I don't think that's going to be an issue going forward, because I believe that's a communication deal with our local businesses. We're blessed in Starkville with a lot of our business, most if not all, that want to support our youth programs and our rec programs. So I think that it's a communication deal where we can connect with them better, and we're going to have 100% going forward for next year in those programs. Social media, you'll notice that our social media, all those arrows are pointing up, so that's a great thing. We have 14% on impressions, and the one that jumps out to me is engagement. Not only are they seeing it, but people in our community are engaging with our social media, so that's very important. The website growth is 20,000 plus new users over the last year, and that is really important, because those metrics show growth and value, not only to us, but our sponsors. It's important for us to have a wide base that we can disseminate information very quickly to our people about upcoming registrations and such, but it's also important to our sponsors to know that it's a value to partner with us. Moving over to slide 6, we have our operating team, and again, not everyone is here, but I'd like to introduce the ones who are here from our staff. Today we have, I'll put her first, Yolandra Valderrama Santana. If you could stand for us, please. She comes to us from Texas, and she has a wealth of knowledge and expertise in parks and rec previously, but also extensive knowledge in playgrounds and equipment and evaluation of those. So we're glad to have her from Texas. Thank you. Next, we have Ms. Valerie Hicks, who's our finance manager. And as you all know, that is such an important position, and she's already shown her worth. I mean, she's just amazing. She's very calming and has helped me understand the budget and what we're looking at, where we've been in the past and where we are to be going forward. And thank you, Valerie. Kayla Davenport is our Director of Marketing and Sponsorships. She's really been that plus in the year over the past year, filling in a lot of other shoes or positions. But if you enjoy the pamphlet you got, she is primarily responsible for helping with this presentation. But also, if you enjoyed July 4th and that event at Cornerstone, she was the brain behind that operation as well. So we thank her for all that she's doing. Next, we have Jeff Ackerson, who comes back in Mississippi. We're so glad to have him. With strong connections already in the Starkville area, but also his business knowledge and leadership, not only in business, but as well as an athlete as well, will be extremely helpful to us. He serves as our Director of Ops. Jodan Baker is our Director of Maintenance, and he has the hard task of taking care of 6 parks with currently a 3-man staff that we're looking to address and try to provide some additional help for him. But he does a great job there. And then we have Victoria Woodbury, and what I want to say about Victoria is what a talent, first of all, that she is, but she runs our athletic rec program. And if the old adage or saying that organization is the key to success, she is well on her way to being successful, because she is highly organized and does a great job with our rec program. Moving on to slide 7, we have our local programming, which really serves at the core of what we do. If you'll notice that in 22-23, from there to 23-24, we gained 272 participants. But then from last year to this year, we've gained 459. So we continue to grow, which is a great thing. And then on the bottom, I think this is really important. We achieved our highest ever registration numbers for youth softball and youth track and field. That's significant because nationally those numbers are going down. But here in Starkville, we're starting to form a firm foundation for those 2 sports, and we're countering what's going on nationally. So well done, Victoria, in getting those numbers. In slide 8, we'll move into tourism. And if you'll notice in events, we've added 8 additional events from last year to this year. In doing so, we've added 230 teams. And 230 seems, like a decent number, but really when you take 230 and you think that a team is based up around 13 or 14 players per team, we're bringing in an additional 3,000 players, which then when you count siblings and families, now you're into the 6,000s. So that's additional people staying here, which is a great thing, and that contributed to our economic impact, which on the slide, this number's not there, but from last year to this year's projected numbers, we have an economic impact of 576,330 projected for Cornerstone Park alone. Moving into Starkville, into the Sportsplex, we added 1 event from last year to this year. In doing so, we added 13 teams. Our visitors increased 5,730 with a projected economic impact for a gain of over 1 million. Very significant. And then slide 10 basically combines these 2. Just to give you a broad look at it, the combined economic impact growth from last year to this year for these 2 parks is somewhere close to 1.585 million. And this increase shows that we have more teams coming in, traveling, and participating in our tournaments, staying in our hotels, and eating at our local restaurants, which is great news, and we expect those to continue to increase because as we look for future tournaments, we're looking for tournaments that are bringing people in that need to stay overnight and spend their time here in Starkville. Slide 11, continuing on tourism, takes our next 6 parks. And I think there's 2 things to note here. There's no projections on this page, so we're dealing with 10 months of solid info, no 2 months projection here, so only 10 months. And if you look at our top 2, J.L. King had 13,500 visitors, and those numbers of visitors visited a total of 61,700 times to J.L. King Park. And then on McKee Park, we had 45,500 visitors who visited a total number of 164,600 visits. That significantly grew. Those numbers grew when we added the ribbon cutting and the addition of the splash pad. Moving on to food and beverage, slide 12. On food and beverage, this is where we expect to really see our most growth for the upcoming year. We're going to do that by evaluating our staffing schedules, our menu mix, and the purchase flow of our concessions. Get people in and out quicker will be the goal on that. If you'll notice, the goal or the expected revenue for this year is $365,000. I do want to note that our goal for next year is $425,000. So we're really planning to push and make a gain in our revenue. We think we can do that with the adjustments that we're going to make. Now, one additional challenge that we're going to have is overcoming the loss of our mass cooking area in our during our fall tournament season for this year. That's not an excuse. We're not providing excuses. We're going to keep grinding. We're going to overcome that. But we always say, you know, as athletes, we're going to compensate and adjust, and we'll make sure that we do that. Slide 13, we move into facilities, and in a 10-month period, we're already 133 more rentals than last year. I'd like to point out that Needmore, what a beautiful place, first of all, for somebody to have a meeting, and those numbers will rise because more people, the word is getting out about that place, and so we'll have more rentals coming in projected for that. And then we have additional pavilions that we will be renting out as well. So those numbers should increase. Our pool revenue to date is $18,878. That will increase slightly as we end up the season on September 6th. On slide 14, on capital improvements, just note that the city of Starkville, we noticed that the city of Starkville is changing expectations for healthy lifestyles through its capital improvements. We're blessed. We're very blessed with beautiful parks. Now it's our job and our task to keep those beautiful, which brings us again to our greatest need, which is additional staff to help and assist our maintenance. But in looking at that top picture on the splash pad, I don't know that there's anything. I truly haven't had a bad day yet, but I think if I ever do, I'm going to the splash pad. Because what would put a smile on your face more than to go out and seeing all the families and the parking lot full at the splash pads at J.L. King and the splash pad at McKee. What a beautiful sight. Slide 15 is just a year in review, and I'm not going to read that because I've covered most of that information already, but I do want to note that we have 46 days till we begin our new fiscal year. And we're, as a staff, we can do one or two things. We can count those days, or we can make those days count. And we choose to make them count. So we're looking to get 1% better in all that we do so we can roll in with momentum into the next fiscal year. Last slide that I'll address is slide 16. You'll notice that the two top pictures in the middle right are baseball and softball pictures. I point those out simply because we have a big tournament tomorrow at Cornerstone. I invite everyone to come out. We'd love to have you. Game started at, I think, 9 a.m. and probably will end around 9 or 10 p.m.-ish. And so we'll be competing all day. We invite you to come out and enjoy that time with us. And then you see the dog in the pool. We will end our summer swim season on September 6th with the dog paddle. And if you'd like to participate in that, you can register with the Humane Society to participate. And that concludes our presentation. If there's any questions or concerns that we can address, we'll be glad to do that.
All right, board, anybody got any questions of Mr. Owens while we have him here?
I have a question. I saw on the org chart a sanitation team. With the addition of new restrooms, all that, is there a plan to keep those clean, unlocked, and maintained going forward consistently?
Yeah, did you say at McKee?
Everywhere.
Okay. Yeah, everywhere is the same, but for McKee, I'll just point that out. So the other day I was at McKee checking on things and noticed that we needed to be cleaned. Right? Again, it was early in the morning, so we cleaned them again. I went back a couple of layers just to check. I wanted to see, and they were clean, but we had an enormous amount of new mess after about 2 to 3 hours. So what we've done with our sanitation, or with our guys that help with that, is we are now cleaning those restrooms because of a high usage 4 times a day. So we're at least 4 times a day cleaning there. That involves mopping too, because it's right there by the splash pad. So now you've got not just dirt, you've got mud and things. So we're cleaning those 4 times a day. Same things for our other parks. Once we hopefully add additional staff, we will clean at the end of the day, lock that restroom so that we know it's ready to go the next day.
Do we have a phone number? You know, when you go out to MSU, for example, you've got something that says if this restroom needs service, or when you go to a gas station sometimes, if this restroom needs service, call. So that might be something, if we've got a number that we can focus on to have dedicated to that, whether it's yours or mine or whoever. I think that, I heard that laugh. But that gives us an opportunity to at least say there's a number you can call, leave a message. You may not be there like that, but it'll say it's time.
We have actually looked at that. The idea, first of all, came from our ball games. I was thinking at Cornerstone, you have multiple people going in, I mean, just multiple use. And I thought at first we would do kind of like the TSA when you go through and you just put smiley face, unhappy, if it's done or not. That way we could immediately know. But I think it was it you, Yolanda? Okay. That we also mentioned just barcode, scan codes. Putting those up. Yes, but we do have some plans to do that.
Okay, good
Yes.
deal. Good deal. And we're gonna put changing stations in McKee.
They're already in McKee.
Oh, are they already in?
They're in.
That was quick.
Correct?
Whoa.
Yeah. Okay.
Jumped right on that. Nice. All right,
They were
good
installed
deal.
and they're ready to go.
Okay, well, to your credit, well, I've heard nothing but good things, with the exception of the occasional, we needed to be cleaned or
Right.
whatever. And while we've got you, let's go ahead and address the gate latch business, because we had an issue where a 2-year-old went to a bigger playground or something, which of course also is a parental issue. But
Yes.
to be honest, I mean, we had a gate latch, I think it was broken. Have we repaired that? And are we changing the style of latch? I think we had that conversation.
Well, I did, and going, every time I'm out at a park, I'm asking parents, what do you see, what can we do? And the one question that I had at McKee, which I thought was a valid point, was on our 2 gates, if we could put the latch where you have to actually pull up to get in and out. I thought that was a great point. That allows infants and little kids not to be able to exit. But if you're big enough to do this, then you're probably big enough to go out of the gate. So I thought that was a great point, if we can do that.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, all right, so looking into that. All right, anyone else? Any other comments? Okay, all right, well, thank you very much. We appreciate you being here this morning,
Thank
and
you.
thanks for introducing everyone. So everybody's got a face to go with a name. All right, so let's roll into our agenda, which is gonna consist of, we got 3 sets of minutes. Mr. Huskinson, and for those of you who might be looking for Ms. Harden, she is in Texas, playing grandmother. So we have Joanna who's with us today, and thank you for that. So 3 sets of minutes, any issues with any of those?
No, ma'am.
All right, consent for those?
Consent.
Okay. And then under announcements, let's just go ahead and do this now, because I should have him stand up and kind of be here for the camera. Mr. Brooks is here with his Sturgis Rally attire on. So we have the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally this weekend. They're coming through town tonight at around 4:30 or so.
Around 4:30.
Yeah, and they'll be coming down Lampkin.
That's great. Up 25, 182 Reed Road, Greensboro Street, Mankin, which is newly paved.
Yes, it is. Looking good.
Slick as glass. And then Russell Street and back out, and then they'll go around by Duty Melville out to Big Cycle.
Okay. So anyway, we're happy to have you join us today, despite being at the rally.
Yeah.
And speaking of Lampkin Street, it is looking good, but Mr. Burnett, we're going to have the striping, the new striping will be probably end of next week or the week after, do we know? The weather dependent, of course?
It's next week pending weather, you have to wait 15 days.
Right.
So that's next Tuesday, it's on rain.
Okay, all right, but we will get it striped, and I think at that point in time, everybody will be really, really happy to be done with that particular section, so good deal. All right, I don't know of anything that I will comment on. You can tell us how good the rally went when you get back from it on Tuesday. So we do have a public appearance, and at this point, I'm going to have a little caveat that goes with this. Joe Max and Elizabeth Templeton are going to come to us. That there are potentially 2 subjects. There's definitely 1 subject. It is not on the board right now. It's not under an action item right now, but it will be under an action item. I just haven't gotten the document to go with it yet, but it is going to be essentially an MOU and a resolution that we will have with the county to, North Star Park had X amount of dollars from MDA, and for all the things that they did, they have approximately $700,000 left over. And so one of the uses that we're going to get the county to, assuming the county agrees, because it's in their name, and they're going to be taking that up on Monday at their regular meeting, is for that $700,000 to come to us to pay for the Josie Creek lift station, so which serves the North Star Park, which makes perfect sense to me. So we've got to upgrade that lift station in order to be able to do what we need to do, and have Mr. Higgins have maximum use of North Star Park. So that will give $700,000 toward a project that is roughly 2.2 million, and I've got the nope, wrong one. This was it to begin with. I've got the rough estimate here that Mary did. I think that's 2 sheets there. That Mary did for Edward. Edward, where are you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, there you are. She did this, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, would y'all mind passing that on down? So the remaining funding, OCEDA has, at least for the time being, has a voice vote, has agreed to cover the remainder of the cost. Either way it goes, it's going to be our asset. Again, assuming the county agrees, it will be our asset, so it will be ours to keep up, but it also serves the northern part of, serves all of North Star, and without it, North Star doesn't have that expansion opportunity. So to me, this is a win-win for us in the sense that we get assistance in upgrading that lift station. Mr. Kemp, the plan of this is to move it onto the property of North Star Park.
Right.
So that we'll have easier access and we won't have to cross private property. Even though we have an easement, we won't have to cross private property to service it as we do regularly, right? Okay, so all of that should come together, but again, dependent on the county. But that's why it's not on for an action item, and I need to talk to Mr. Higgins, and as soon as I do, I plan to put it under an action item for us for Tuesday, so that you will see a change, but that gives you an explanation of what that change is about. So, any questions for me on that? Mr. Higgins will be there to provide that, and then he's got one other, I think he's got a project he wants to talk about, but I don't know if it's got a name or if it's got a fake name or what. But anyway, we will see what he wants to bring forward to us at the board meeting on Tuesday. All right, and this is going to be under public hearings. We have a 21-1911 that we're taking up, which is located at 512 Dr. Martin Luther King Drive. So obviously it'll be a public hearing, so we won't be taking any action on it, but it'll be presented at that point in time under that statute. Then we've got the public hearing on tax millage and the budget for the city. So we had our work session, and we got to a point where Mr. Corbin, there you are. Did you bring that with you? So he has done sort of a rough estimate of the things that we talked about with the changes that we discussed, so we'll have something to go by. And so that gives us an opportunity to take a look at that, see whatever changes the board wants to look at. I think we've added back in for discussion purposes, added back in the SAFER grant, and we've also added in, thank you so much, we also have I should have let you do this, Will, my bad.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay, this is an analysis from Mr. Ashford, still working on our behalf, regarding salary structure. Regarding salary structure and what those costs would be based on going up to a higher minimum wage, and giving the positions that are underfunded below 95%, and also the more critical positions that we find are being, shall we say, poached from us, or at least people are trying to see if they can entice them away with additional funding. Certainly not a better work environment, but additional funding. So that is incorporated into that, and wanted you to have that for consideration. So that's all part of what we will be able to talk about. If we want to have any further discussions on it right now, we can. If we want to have them after the public hearing on Tuesday, we can do that. But any thoughts that anybody wants to share at this point in time? I know you just got it, so we all kind of just got it this morning. But we can come back to it if that suits. We can go down it. We can go down the other agenda and come back to it. Alderman Sister.
I was going to say, one of the things that I'd like us to think about adding back is some of the library funding. They have had a reduction in funding that came from the state as they passed down federal cuts that came to them, that they passed on down to the local level. So they're getting less state funding, and they're also getting less funding in, directly from some other, areas that causes them to not be able to continue to provide certain services. And I see that the library director is here. It would impact, the online books, what else, Phil?
Complete loss of the Hoopla platform is from loss by MLS funds. Complete loss of statewide ILL, which allows us to borrow resources from other state libraries. We're gonna lose some consultancy and some other things that really help us do what we do with our minimal understaffing.
What is that total?
Annually, it's probably gonna be about, $10,000 to $15,000 this year. Next year, there's the potential that they may lose another $50,000. This year being fiscal year 26. Next year, there's a potential that they may lose another $50,000 as there are some federal cuts.
The federal cuts affect the state library, it affects how much money we get from them, and so all of that can go away.
Okay. And we do share the funding. I think we evenly 50-50 share the funding with the county.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Is it not 50-50?
It's thereabout. They also have additional allocations for Maven and Sturgis, and they
Right.
also fund the state code required law library that we host as a database.
Okay, so they're a little above us?
Just a little bit,
Okay, all
because
right,
it's
so that was,
additional.
okay. All right, so,
But if we could add back 5,000 this year, which is not much in the grand scheme of what we're talking about. If we could add back 5,000, that allows them to continue in fiscal year 26, things like the Hoopla platform, which is their online book service. And if you've never used it, it's, if you can remember your password, it's pretty user friendly. And if you can't remember your password, your staff is good about helping you recover it. So, voice of experience here. But the other thing to know is that next year, that they're facing potentially larger cuts. Next year being fiscal 27.
all right, so, in looking at that, that's, it takes it from, 1,031,000 to 1,036,000. So,
I'm saying it's not.
no, I understand. Still, it does all start to add up, but duly noted, so. All right, any other comments? Mr. Pope, I see you.
The SAFER grant, is that on here?
No, yes, it's put it back in as this is what it would be. So, it's not, doesn't quite equal a mill, but that gives you a general idea.
And I just want to touch on the SAFER grant. So I think, I've talked to Chief Davis and Chief Arnett, and I think and granted, I know that we are not guaranteed to get it, but if we do get the SAFER grant, we can hire 6 new, we don't have to take the 12 we applied for, 6 new firemen, and that will come with promotions. And hopefully, fingers crossed, that will cut their unscheduled overtime, so they can fund that grant with the match by cutting their unscheduled overtime down and using that money to do that. So it's not, we just need to know that we can.
How much is our unscheduled overtime?
As of the other day, it was like $250,000.
Okay, so it's a virtual wash. Does that take into account, that doesn't take into account turnout gear and all the assorted additional costs that come with 6 new people, right?
Well, we got that total, and I think, like, what, 200 with, salaries, our match, like the SAFER grant, the turnout gear, the retirement and all that. You're looking at still saving and promotions, and you're still looking at cutting that number from that. There's still money in the budget.
But it would require significant management by the fire department to make sure they don't schedule, that they don't use.
Yeah, that would mean,
unscheduled.
that'd be your
Task.
guarantee for making that happen.
Actually, with the 20 people, we could still allow 2 people to be off. We have 18, we won't have to hire overtime. That's what's been hurting us, because
Yeah.
we're not at the 18, we need to keep it rated.
Right, which you did, by the way, so let's make sure I say that. We have been told that we have kept that fire rating 3. We got inspection 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that. And so they came back and said that we did retain the fire rating 3, so. And how often do you get inspected? How often does that come about?
I think about 4 to 5 years.
That's what I was thinking, so, okay, all right, well, congratulations on that, so, okay. Well, and with that in mind, there's your opportunity, so we would then cut the operational budget, the expense budget down? Well, true, but in
It would
doing
be
the planning,
in
that's
there.
where that's
Their
how.
budget would ultimately be the same. I mean, if we get the grant versus if we don't, it's still.
Yeah.
So what I think I'm hearing is it would depend on what, we really don't need to add it back here from what I'm hearing. We would just change the line from unscheduled overtime.
That's where I was,
down to
that's where I was
Saturday.
going. So you
So
really don't have to have that on here.
It's a question of where you report it.
Yeah. Okay.
Which that's only true in year 1 and 2.
That's
right?
correct.
That by year 3 or 4, it's almost up.
Yeah,
full
you,
3
you
mils.
have to absorb
But the
it.
money that we're gonna save with them,
Okay, is that to staff existing positions or to staff Station 5?
not Station 5.
Not Station 5 existing positions.
Yes.
Awesome, thank you.
Sure.
And
Okay.
these do have to be new positions in addition to the 54
Yes,
ma'am.
that we're currently
Yeah,
budgeted.
so it'd be 50, it'd be 60, yeah,
Great,
60.
thank you.
Okay, all right. Any other questions? Okay, all right, so we'll move on to, let's go ahead and move on to the other agenda items, and if somebody thinks of something, we can certainly come back to it. And y'all don't have to stay if you don't want to. I don't mean for you to have to go through all this, but I'm just saying, it's entirely up to y'all, not chasing you out either, just saying. And here they go. You know what?
We appreciate for your time and thank you. It was nice meeting somebody.
Sure.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, so, I am asking the board to consider, and I realize how difficult this is because, you know, I lived through the original Park Mobile. But what I am suggesting that we do, we've had it for 3 years now, and I'm suggesting that we go up 25 cents, still leave 15 minutes free for DoorDash and all that sort of business. You know, grab and go and whatever. 15 minutes free, goes up to $1.25, so that's an additional 25 cents an hour. And then charge for weekends. And when I say weekends, I mean Saturday, not Sunday. This is something we have not done in the past, but I don't think it is out of line to consider you leave the rate. Right now, it's the maximum of 3 hours for $1.25, and that's true during the weekdays too, because the intent is for turnover. So on the weekends, this would be much the same, except you'd have maximum of 3 hours, but if you want to stay there all day, which is what basically happens on game day weekends certainly, and on other weekends as well, it would be a flat rate of $10 for your regular weekend rate, and that's just on Saturday, and that's the 8 to 8 deal, which is the timeline that we've got now, so the nighttime piece is still free. And then on game day weekends, busy weekends, weekends where you've got obviously a huge amount of activity in town, particularly a football game, then it would be $25 if you wanted to exceed the 3. And I have seen people out there that are using their yards and parking them for $50, so I don't think a flat rate of $25 is in excess. But I do realize that it is not the most popular concept, but I do think that it frees up some turnover, whereas on Saturdays right now, there are people who residentially are there, living there, and they're just parking on the street all day. So this is an opportunity for those to continue to have some turnover on a Saturday when normally people would just be, you know, camping out, so to speak. So that's my pitch for this. I think it's an appropriate thing to do. I don't think it's overly onerous. So that is what I would like the board to consider, and I realize that there is some dissension, so I'm not gonna say consent agenda for any of this, no problem.
I
All this is
wanted
strong.
I wanted to add one more thing to the timing and go into the idea of the whole week. The software with Park Mobile allows you great flexibility in when and how much you charge, and so you can structure that. So we would probably exempt Sunday mornings.
Oh, yeah, no, Sunday's exempt. All day Sunday is exempt.
Okay.
Yeah, Sunday is not, doesn't count. I mean, if you want it to count, we can certainly go from noon on.
I honestly think it confuses people when you have.
Well, if you're gonna change the hours, you're changing the hours. It won't be 8 to 8, it would be, because you've got your church groups that use.
It would only be that area immediately around the church, so everything else.
So,
That's,
well, you got two, one on East Lee and one on
yeah.
University.
But there's parking zones that are
There are,
outside
there are.
that area.
Okay, so anyway, that's the idea that I have that I think is reasonable. I think it is a revenue in the sense that it costs us to maintain those things. It costs us to keep them striped. It costs us to maintain the parking areas. So, you know, from that perspective, that is why I think now is an appropriate time to bring it forward. I'm also suggesting that we give warning tickets for the first 2 weeks, make it effective September 1, give warning tickets for the first 2 weeks so that people have notice. And then you got it. So, all right, questions, comments, anybody? Mr. Brooks, you want to make
No,
a comment?
I've got some issues with
I know you
that,
do, so do you want to talk about them? or you
No,
want-
no, I want to go with more information.
Okay, all right. Anybody else? Okay, well, we will move along then. Next one is, it is time for us to approve the extension of the agreement with Sports Facilities Companies, that they're on three-year rolling extension. So this would be that extension effective October 1. But goes to September the 30th. There's an addendum in there of 2 items that I have asked them to change, which they did. One is $500 is a roll of toilet paper these days, so I asked them to just bump it up to $1,000 because they have to get consent for anything over $500 right now. To me, I think $1,000 is reasonable, so I asked them to make that change. The other change that they made that I had asked them to make is that they do not get to take 10% of sponsorships that the city has gathered on our own, which we have done a number of. We've gotten sponsorships that are, that I've pursued, that people told me about that I've pursued, and so they will no longer be taking 10% of that, which was in the previous contract. So, in yours to our benefit, yes, ma'am.
What about the sales at the gate? Is that still in the original
They're-
contract? I get the percentage over.
Well, we haven't even been charging at the gate.
Okay.
So that's gonna be one of those things that we're gonna look at how we're going to increase the revenue associated either with parking or with gate fees, and that's gonna be what they're working with the promoters for. But they're managing that.
Because I
But-
think there's a clause in there, after so many, they get a percentage of the gate.
If they get X amount,
Yeah.
yeah. So, anyway,
I think they've got a good team in place, and I think it would be worthwhile to do this one, extend this for the 3 years.
well, we actually, in order not to do it, we had to give them much more notice than we've given them for this renewal. But since they were putting a team in place, it struck me that we were getting a whole lot out of them, and our parks are in an incredibly good state right now. So I did not think that there was an issue there, so. Good? Okay. Anyone want to go consent for that? All right, thank you. And then independent contractor, Mr. Ashford has agreed, where are you, sir? Is he hiding? There he is. Mr. Ashford, who we don't see very often anymore, but he has agreed to serve as an independent contractor. As you guys know, we have a vacancy in that position. And so for transition purposes, he has agreed to assist us with a not to exceed amount. The contract is in the packet, I believe. Did you? Yeah, okay, good. I get a nodded head nod there. Thank you, sir. So if everyone's comfortable with that, I would strongly suggest it. He is invaluable. He's been working remotely, and he's actually been here a couple of times this week and put together the salary study for us. So this is on a not to exceed basis, and it's on an as needed basis. And I know Mr. Kemp has been relying on him for assistance with the utilities department. And from a structure, organizational structure, he brings a whole lot to the table. So I would like us to consider allowing him to continue as an independent contractor. And he does not have to sit out for 90 days as an independent contractor, so.
Strongly consent.
Okay, good, thank you. Board business, this is the issue with 207.5 McKinley. Mr. Hamlin, I realize this is going to be a somewhat complex, and you'll be able to do it again on Tuesday, but if you would, give the board what they're going to need to be considering as we go through this, because this is not simple.
So as far as the property goes, technically they can build back on it. It's most likely going to require several kind of variances to make that happen. And there'll also need to be some clarification on how you access the property, what kind of easements are there. If they're not there, they need to be provided. And this is one of those things, the more you look at it, the more stuff you find. This morning when I was trying to recap everything I've already looked into, the tax map's way off from what's actually there. So I don't really know how much property is even out there.
Okay. Well, and this is actually not what we need to, this fills in the discussion just so that everybody's fully informed, but the reality is, we either have her tear down the house or she rebuilds a house. And my understanding is she cannot really rebuild a house as it stands right now because it is encroaching on the property of someone else.
Most likely, yes.
Yes, so I think it's, our focus is, it can't stay that way. So I think to distill it down is to understand that it's a complex situation, but it's gonna be mostly civil. But ours is, we can't leave a structure that is dangerous to the community.
And then any attempt to build back is going to require some sort of process to straighten everything up.
Yeah, so, anyway, just kind of where we are, so everybody can think about what's gonna need to be done. You have communicated with her?
I've been reaching out to her. I can't get her on the phone. She does not have a voicemail, so I'll just keep trying.
Okay, all right, well, hopefully between now and then, and if worse comes to worse, obviously code enforcement was able to get up with her, so,
That's who gave me the contact information.
okay, all right,
I'll keep trying.
okay, all right, so, did anybody know this lady? Did you know this lady?
Which one?
The lady at
Logan.
207.5. If you have a contact for her perhaps? Okay.
I used to.
Oh,
I haven't
okay,
looked
well,
and
anyway, we'll keep trying.
seen. I know her.
Yes, sir, okay, well, that would be the goal. All right, and then we have Alderman Sistrunk, I'm gonna pivot over to you, these are the improvement bonds.
Sure, as everybody who's been through this a few times knows, the very first step is the authorization. That starts a clock ticking on some legal things that happen, and at the end of that authorization period, we have the ability to issue bonds. This is asking for the authorization to issue up to $15 million in a series of one or more federally taxable or tax exempt series to provide funds for authorized purposes. And we wrote the authorized purposes very broadly so that as we decide to issue bonds, if we decide to issue bonds, we could use them for anything from streets, which has typically been the primary purpose of this, to drainage projects, to grant match with the sidewalks, the grant match for the Safe Streets for All project that's coming up. We also included parks in case there were additional parks projects that we wanted to do. We included library in case there was anything we wanted to do with the library. That doesn't mean we do anything, but this just authorizes us to do this, and then as we find projects that we want to fund, streets, sidewalks,
And
whatever.
who knows, the rail to trail thing might actually become a reality.
That might pop up, and that's why parks is in there among other reasons. But it's an up to amount, it's strictly an authorization to do it. We would narrow the purpose whenever we got ready to issue the bond. So the next step would be, if we decided we wanted to issue $5 million of street bonds, we would come back to the board and say, that's the purpose of these bonds. And all those other things are still available for the remaining dollars, but those, on a case-by-case, issuance by issuance, we would determine why we were issuing those bonds.
So this is that
This is just
authorization
the
period.
authorization.
I'm sorry?
No, because those are revenue bonds typically, and these are general obligation bonds.
And what Kim asked about was water sewer bonds, but those are revenue bonds. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody want to consent for that one? I don't hear anybody yelling at me.
Consent.
Thank you. Well, no, I was gonna say yelling at me that no, so yeah, we'll put it on consent. All right, the health insurance, this is, we had two options. One was to go up 12% with one company, and the other one was to go up 6% with the other company. So we opted for the 6%.
And this is the reinsurance.
Yes, it is. I'm sorry. Yes, it's the reinsurance. So this was the recommended renewal contract. So consent for that one.
Consent.
And actually, we're in really good shape with the health care. So it's nice to see that people are using what they need and.
Same company.
Blue Cross Blue Shield, yes.
Third-party
Yeah.
administration piece of it is the same company. This is just the reinsurance for those really large claims, and our people never even know that that's happening. That's a back-of-house kind of issue.
We're still Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Yeah, for the third-party
So yes.
administrator.
Airport, Mr. Lincoln, anything you'd like to share? This is for the fuel truck lease agreement and the Titan Fuel folks.
It's pretty much all said. There's a couple of things Bert and I talked about this next week.
Tweaking the contract? Okay, are you gonna get that done before Tuesday?
Yeah, it's very minimal. It's like the pay time, 15 days, some of that stuff that we just.
Okay, well, I wanna make sure that what is
Yeah.
tweaked gets into the
Yeah.
minutes and the contract appropriately.
Will do.
Okay, so consent for that?
Consent.
Okay. Final plat, Mr. Haviland, one more time around?
Yes, this is just the combining of 3 lots for a development. As part of that, they're also giving up some property to add to the right of way to make our sidewalk bigger there.
Okay, so basically aggregation for a project that they're working for.
We've been working on this project for about a year as a quarter, so
Okay.
we're real close to starting construction.
Okay, cool, all right, consent for that one? Well, I'm assuming there was nothing controversial about the plat?
No.
Okay,
Nothing.
all right, consent for that one? All right. Engineering, this is a change order for the intersection. Mr. Burnett, anything about this one we need to share?
It's not, it's minor button-up things to finish the project out. We're complete with construction, and this pays out the last of the changes.
Okay, so all those bricks and things are gone and cleaned up, cones to be gone when the time is appropriate?
That's right. The only thing remaining is the cones for the old travel lane that's now a walking path. Push people out of it until we get it striped.
Okay,
next
all right,
week.
consent for that one?
Mayor,
Okay,
can I touch on something?
Sure.
The purpose of that was to get that intersection to where it wasn't so dangerous, correct?
yes,
Okay.
we
I
narrowed
just
the
wanted-
pedestrian walkway down so that, and it's confusing. You know, people were parked, stopped way back there, and you got somebody in the middle up here, so, yeah, it is reduced the confusion factor pretty
Not
significantly.
just for sidewalks.
Yeah, well, pedestrians.
Correct.
But, we've got a lot of walking traffic around the community market, and we're enhancing the opportunity to walk. And so this is a way for us to, allow the railroad to be there, but not take up all of our space as we turn that into a biking path as soon as possible. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, all of that. Claims docket, so we will skip that. Fiscal year budget adjustments, anything, Mr. Corbin, anything you'd like to share with us, or Mrs. Strunk?
It's just, I'm just trying to, get us through the end of the year on any anticipated adjustments that need to be made. A little bit of overtime, a little bit of salaries, hair, parks, nothing too major.
Okay, all right, consent for that one? Did you want to add something? Okay, all right, consent for that one? Okay, and then financial statements, acceptance of financial statements, anything about that one? No? Okay, consent for that? Approval to, the surplus property. So I gotta ask, Chief, where were you keeping all this stuff that's on that surplus property list? I have never seen so much stuff. Was it all tucked away in the fire station 5?
It's just, a lot of it's probably been gone for a long time.
Oh.
It's just been on the list. Turn up here, they don't think to bring it because it's just junk at that point. So
Okay.
it's just been,
So it's been in the dumpsters?
it's a cleanup.
Okay, all right. Well, there was so much of it, I thought, oh my goodness, where has that been hiding? Okay, thank you. All right. Consent for that one? All right, thank you. And then the clerk's office to advertise for source of supply. Consent for that one? Those are just basic things. All right, Chief, y'all want to go train? And what are we training to do, just for fun, leadership training? Okay, all right, and you're gonna leave somebody here in charge, right? Okay, consent for that one? And then a Homeland Security grant, which we just got, Vice Mayor.
Thanks for recognition. I take it that we have budgeted $6,000 and sent all those individuals on a trip.
On a training trip. Do we have that in our budget, Chief? Yes, apparently we do.
Just one comment today, just a very enormous amount to send all this upper echelon, all that number of people. And we got a training officer seem to be doing a great job, not micromanaging, but it just seemed like it's an overkill. A lot of people going for an enormous amount of time. We're in this very tough economic time. And just because it's budgeted does not mean we have to spend it, but that's just my housekeeping comment. Thank
Okay, would you
ma'am.
prefer it not be on consent?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right, well, I will take it off consent then, thank you. Yes, sir. And then we have a Homeland Security grant, which we found out about yesterday, so we rushed to get it on the schedule, so, very good to have, that it's 100% reimbursed, and this is for, equipment, is it radios, right? The radios, yeah, okay. So we wanna put that in there. Joanna, please, would you put in radios, so future we'll know what it was for? Okay, cool, thank you.
And Mr. Corbin will add this to the budget, but it won't change the bottom line because it's revenue and it's equal amounts.
Okay, good deal. Well, is that this year's budget? Is this coming in?
Next
It'll
year's
come in
budget.
next year's?
budget.
Okay, all right. I just wasn't sure if it was gonna be we get it in September. Okay. All right, HR, any of these, let's see, hiring, and hiring. Any of these other than replacement positions? Okay, so replacement consent for these? Okay. And then IT, the good news, the extra good news is we had a little bit of camera money left over because of the reduction in the cost of the cameras. So we are going to be able to get another 5. So how many of these will be replacements? Because we are ending an age or getting to the point of an age on a lot of the first ones.
Yes, ma'am, that's right. Some of our first deployments were done 6 years ago plus. We do have some cameras that are ready to be replaced that are not going to be compatible with the system going forward. So I'm working closely with the police department, Officer Upchurch, to identify those replacements and possibly supplementing other locations as well.
Okay, and you're going to put together a list of the aging of those so that we'll know over the coming budget years
Yes,
how many
ma'am,
we're going
we've
to need to be
started,
replacing versus
gathering
getting new?
an aging report for you.
Okay, excellent. That's the proper term, an aging report. That's why my sister looked at me like I had lost my language. I saw you.
Use your big word.
Yeah, my peripheral vision too. Okay, so consent for that one? All right, great, thank you. All right, under parks, we have a low quote for making some needed repairs to the J.L. King Park Pavilion. Consent for that one? These are electrical repairs. And then plumbing contractor for the relocation of McKee Park water fountain. I believe, do we have a leak in the existing one, or is it just not well placed?
It's not well placed for the new improvements. There's not a water fountain near the bathroom. It's not a splash pad.
Okay.
And so this moves an existing fountain from somewhere that's kind of out of sight, out of mind to a place where it's going to get used.
Okay, consent for that one? Consent. Okay, and then professional services proposal with Neil Schaefer, and this just beats all, y'all, and I just gotta say, I don't know where this is coming from, but we applied for a grant for a skate park, which I think is just really cool. I'm excited about it. And they got back to us and said, you gotta have an archaeological survey done for this. Now, bear in mind that we have put parking lots, we have put everything around this thing, and it is so far from, in my opinion, from what was triggering the one for the Stark Road deal. I can't imagine why, but this is to take care of that so we can go ahead and be competitive, or at least check the boxes for this potential grant for the skate park. So I would request consent for this one. It just seems like such a governmental overreach, but hey, what am I saying? And then we need to reject the park signage bid because it came in extremely high. Yes, so we're gonna look at doing 1 or 2 of them at a time.
Can I ask on that?
Sure.
Are we asking for a bid with certain specs to be up to a certain quality? This is what their pricing is going to be if they're done to those specs, or?
Yes, we've got a design that we have given them. This is what they are bidding to. So we're just gonna come back and see if we can get more bidders because we don't have as big a project. So we'll do it on perhaps a 1 and 2 basis over the coming year or years. Sure. Consent for that one? Consent. All right, thank you. And then Chief, we have an LPR commercial data cost for, and this is a sole source. So any issues, anything you want to share about that?
No, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Consent for that? Yes, sir.
How many readers do we have? How many of those readers do we
I
have?
don't know, how many readers do we have, Chief?
I believe this should be coming up around 6.
6 LPRs?
Thank you.
Chief, do you have any other LPRs that are on the Fuchsia system that like citizens have or businesses have? Are there any of those on that system?
No, because we do have a donation from a gentleman, really not coming at the time off South Montgomery, that I think from neighborhood has purchased 2 LPRs and will be donating for.
Is that Country Club
police
Estates?
department, I'm going to say yes, ma'am. For usage with our systems. But again, I don't have business-wise, there's not a lot at all. And I'd have to refer back to our church.
I've got 2, so we just need to make sure my 2 are on our system as well.
So they're $7,700 per? Is that for one?
So that should be to update the software for all operations.
Is that around your U-Haul stuff? I'm being nosy.
It's on the front.
It's on the front. I'm just trying to think, you know,
I've got 2.
is that useful to y'all? Y'all can get that, if I were like putting that on my stuff, in my area, that would be useful to y'all?
If it's
It's pointed in the right direction?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh, okay, cool. All right, consent for that? Consent. Thank you. And then code enforcement, these are the mowing areas, so they've already been found to be in violation. This is just us putting it on the minutes as required by the statute. So we do consent for that one? Okay. Sanitation department, all right. Mr., there you are, you're up. I'm gonna let you provide an explanation to the board of this, because I think it's interesting. And they need to know, and the public needs to know, so they can utilize it appropriately.
All right, thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Board. This is an opportunity for us to go into a textile waste program. Basically what it is, you have to have a recycling center on site to actually even qualify. It's something that will be no cost to us. It also allows us to provide data for future grants. There will be quarterly diversion reports, and this is kind of a concept to let us know what's not going into the landfill. You know, we get all type of reports that all the trash that we're taking to the landfill. So basically with our current recycling center, we'll have bins for clothing material, entertainment material, to where actually the citizens will be a one-stop shop to where they can also recycle those materials. And basically it'll have transmitters in it to let the partnership will be American Thrift Stores to where they'll come collect it and they'll know when they're getting full.
And how often do they collect them? Whenever they're full?
It's basically with transmitters in it, it'll let them know.
Okay.
So it's like a halfway point to where they'll know they're getting halfway full and they'll know when it's in their tank.
Okay.
Where will they be located?
They'll be located right there with our current recycling center, but it'll be over to the side.
And what kind of items would people drop off? Just textiles?
Textile, clothing, and entertainment. As of right now, we didn't want to get into big furniture items or anything of that nature because we could have, because of spacing and actually giving them a trial to see actually how it's gonna turn out. I didn't want to do big items.
So when you say, excuse me, I'm sorry. No, I was gonna say, when you say textiles, you're talking about like sheets and towels, or?
Yes.
Okay, all right, cool. Anyway,
Cleaning out a closet.
Yep, there you go.
Fire department.
Absolutely.
And the biggest thing that I do like out of it, it actually promotes for reducing recycling. We can keep stuff out the landfill.
Okay.
That's the ultimate goal.
And that'll reduce our costs.
Yes.
Because it's by the ton, right, or by the, whatever, kiloton, or whatever it is. Okay, and so when do you think this would become effective?
Well, from the information I got, once I can get them to sign contract, they will assign that thing to pretty much within the next week or so. But we can start on tomorrow.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, consent for that one? All right. And last but not least, utilities. We have a low quote for annual renewal of a server system. Consent for that one. I assume, Joel, or Edward, I'm sorry, whoever, that's just something we've got to do? Yeah. Okay, consent for that one? And then the low quote for technologies for Cisco network switches, again, something we got to do?
End of life.
End of life, okay. All right, consent for that one. And last but not least, sole source quote for service replacement of a control panel. So, beyond end of life. All right, consent for that one. All right. Anything else? Anybody want to circle back to budget?
I would just say, for a package this large, they misspelled Starkville so many daggone times.
They misspelled it.
Almost every time.
Who did?
They did, people.
S-T-A-R-K-E. What did I just say, Key? S-T-A-R-K-E? I can't even say it, so never mind.
Oh, for the,
Yeah.
okay. I was gonna say, I know they didn't, because I was looking at this one going, I know I did that. Okay, anything else? All right, if not, thank you, everyone. Be safe on your motorcycle, and we'll look for you coming through town.